Yeah, just Minister, and I'm going to put a scenario to you. You may not be able to answer this for me now, but I would appreciate if you could come back to me before report stage. So take the example of John, who is a farmer and has been diagnosed with farmer's lung. And due to very poor health, back in February of 2010, he signed over the farm in totality, farm entitlements, the land, the whole lot, to his son Michael, who had completed his Green Cert and is, since February of 2010, is the legal farmer of those lands. Now, John went into long-term nursing home care because he got pneumonia at Christmas 2014, went into long-term nursing home care in January 2015. Because the farm had not been signed over for the full 5 years in advance of John going into long-term nursing home care, Michael, his son, has had to pay the 7.5% per annum top up that is required between that date and now. Now, you're now saying that John, in order to ensure that Michael gets the relief that's set out in this legislation, John must now declare Michael as the successor. But Michael has been the successor and has been farming the land for the last 11 years. Now, I believe, Minister, that if that is enshrined in law, I think it's open to legal challenge. And I think that this legislation could be struck down because it is unconstitutional that John is not in a position to declare anyone a legal successor, because Michael has already been the legal successor of that holding for the last 11 years. So I think this specific issue really needs to be looked at between now and report stage.
In relation to the specifics from Deputy Naughten and Deputy Burke, we will have to come back to you on these, because there's always going to be individual cases that are not as straightforward. That's the third one I've heard of today, and I'm aware of some myself as well. So if that's okay with you, we will refer. And I know, Deputy Burke, you're unsure about one issue, and I probably haven't given you a very clarified question, but if you would leave it with us, we will definitely come back to you on that. That's okay.
Okay, thank you, Minister. I appreciate that.
Minister, could you also come back on just one final point, and that is, if someone is in a nursing home now but hasn't applied for the fair deal pending the passage and enactment of this legislation, presumably the 3-year cap will apply from when they apply for the fair deal after the enactment of this legislation. Would that be the case? So someone is in a nursing home at the moment, they haven't applied for the fair deal scheme. Right? The legislation is enacted, they then apply for the fair deal scheme. Does the 3 years start from that point forward, or is there any credit for the 3 years that they've already spent in the nursing home outside of the fair deal scheme?
So just to be very clear, the person is in a nursing home but they're paying privately, they haven't applied. Yes. For the fair deal scheme. So they can apply from tomorrow, or when the scheme is enacted. They can appoint a successor, and the time spent will count.
The time already spent will count.
Absolutely. Once they apply for, it's really from the time they appoint a successor, any time served will count. And even though they weren't taking place in the fair deal scheme, they can start to take part in it from when the bill is enacted, or even from tomorrow. But absolutely will count categorically.